Good morning everybody, and I thought it would be fun today to share a process video for the sketch that I'm using today for our wonderful festive event over at Scrap a Sketch. It's an absolutely gorgeous sketch and I can't wait to get started on it. I've gathered together some supplies, some of which I'll use, I'm sure some of which I won't. I've got a pile of papers, scraps, some sticker sheets that there might be bits on. I've also sorted out a little pot of some fussy cut embellishments, some pumpkins, various bits and pieces that I've gathered together. I've got some, I didn't even know I'd got this, some beautiful pumpkin washi tape, which I don't know, if I hold that close you might be able to see a little bit better. I've got some gorgeous pumpkin flair from the Flair Hut, and I've also got two of Lisa's stencils available at the Flair Hut. There's leaves and stars because I know I want some stenciling on there, and I've got various colours of ink out. I've got wild honey, rusty hinge, dried marigold, spiced marmalade, and a little bit of aged mahogany for something a bit darker. So I'm going to get started. It's a picture of Nigel picking a pumpkin for him to carve. He carved some amazing pumpkins this year. This was actually one that got rejected because it wasn't big enough for what he wanted, but he's giving it quite some scrutiny. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with some mixed media background on here. Because the sketch obviously has got quite a bit of mixed media, and I thought, yeah, that's the way I'm going to go for this. So I'm just going to get my things ready and I'll be back in a moment. So I've got some spiced marigold on first, and that looks quite powerful. So I'm actually going to blot a lot of that off because that is quite a hit of colour. And those of you that know me well know bright colours aren't really my vibe. And I do tend to dry it off as well once I've smushed it. So I think we're going to go for some wild honey. I might actually add a bit more of the spiced marmalade because that didn't come out as bold as I thought it was going to. This has got a much yellower tone, which I think will go well. I always do it first on an area that I know isn't going to show. And we'll just dab that off a little bit as well. And I am going to use a little bit more of that. I'm going to be a bit more circumspect with putting it on at the moment. So I do want a little bit of that up here, and I'm looking more for smudges rather than dots at the moment. So I think maybe we'll just put a little bit over there as well. And do I want to use any others? Let's have a look at Rusty Hinge and see how that works with it all, which is a richer tone. Yeah. Now often I want dots rather than smudges, but today I didn't want dots, I wanted smudges. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go with the Rusty Hinge. And we're going to have a look at a couple I want them quite light. I don't want these stars to dominate. I was going to use the leaves, but I've used the leaf stencils so many times, so I just want a hint of the stars. And as always, I'm not sure how much of this will show afterwards, but it was just to give a little bit of a hint. And I think we might go and I'm going, I think, to put that back on and just darken that one up a little bit. So I just wanted a hint of a little bit of stenciling on there. So we've got the photograph, and this was a very badly cut frame that I used for I cut for another project. So I think I'm going to use that in this page, and then I'm going to put a lot of embellishments in there. So I now want, and I'm thinking, I don't know if that's going to be too dramatic. I think I might want to introduce some of the green, because I love the greens on the flare. So I think introducing a little bit of the green on here would be a nice way to go. So I'm just going to cut some of this paper and I'll come back. So I've gone with the green paper. I've tucked a little bit of the orange behind. I've added some of the washi tape along in 2 strips. And now I think we're ready to look at some of the bits that we've got. So I think this is what I want as my title, which I think is probably going to go there. And I think that is going to balance it at the top. Not quite sure where, perhaps in there. The pumpkins are too cute not to use, and I've got lots of, I do want to use my little owl. I've got lots of florals in the same colour. I want that to be very prominent because I love flare, but that epoxy flare is just something very special. Now, it's whether or not I balance it. And I think it might want to be the green one, which is just so gorgeous. And I think he might, oh, I don't know, he might want to tuck in there. We'll see about him. And then I want to use some of the florals because it wouldn't be me. You can see I've covered up a lot of the mixed media, but it is there. So I do think we want some of these florals. I apologise for Coda, it's all right. Yeah, got Coda crying because he can't come in because I'm filming. So he's not a happy boy. So I think, and I do want the date. I might have to add some more of those stars on at the bottom. So let's do that first, because I don't want to lose those completely. So I think I'll just pop those in. Right, let's start fixing down the things that we know. And we know that that one is going to go in that corner. And we know that my blessed title, I'm actually going to use just a little bit of that, is going to go along there. And I'm definitely going to put autumn at the top, but I think it's going to be over there, and that's going to, I don't like uneven lines, I like to break the edge of things. So I'm going to put that in there, and I think that might just go around there. This one, okay, I'm going to stick these down and I'll come back to you once I have. Right, I've stuck these bits down and I want to add a few more little pieces. I know I want to use the owl because they are just too cute not to use. So I think the owl is going to pop on there. That's a nice leaf. And I think we'll just extend, maybe not, I might keep that for that one. Let's put this in because it needs something at the side to balance it. So I think let's pop that one there, and then I think that we'll tuck under there. Got another little bit of fern, so maybe that one will just extend that, yes, and it picks out the darker colour leaf that was already on there as well. So we'll add that. I like to curl. It doesn't stay curled when it's in a scrapbook album, but it's nice whilst it's out. I like to curl them a little bit. I think, yeah, that's going to slot in there. I'm not going to use the large pumpkins, and I don't think my date is going to work, so I might just put the date on there. And I want to see if there are any word stickers that I want. And although it's designed for something different, I'm guessing, I'm going to use Little Pumpkin because this one was rejected. It was too little. I'm just looking to see. I think we might use Bushels of Fun. I'll just pop him under there. So he looks like he was always meant to be there. And I think that's the page done. Thank you for bearing with me and watching, and I'll see you next time.